Paul George was waxing poetic about the crown jewel of the NBA. Do you hear what he had to say? Maybe you missed this. So Paul George recently said that bringing the almighty title to the Clippers would mean much more than ever doing it for the Lakers. Yeah, he said that. He said it. He was speaking to GQ Magazine. That's always where I go for my sports news, is GQ Magazine on a profile piece. And Paul George said, quote, a championship with the Clippers 100% will outweigh a championship being with the Lakers. You might remember at one point the Laker historians were cheering for George to go to their team, desperately begging him to come be the savior of the Lakers. But he ended up zigging when people thought he was zagging. And even though he's from Southern California, the high desert, he ended up eventually going to the Clippers. Now, George added that bringing the first, as he said, chip, that's what the cool kids say, the first chip to the Clips, that this part of L.A. would be legacy defining, he said, close quote. All right, so let us discuss. Paul George announcing that a championship with the Clippers would 100%, those are his words, 100% outweigh winning with the Lakers. We're going to fact check that statement. Right now, I've got Quill Penn, Albert Einstein, and Mike Rowe. And we will combine those three random things together, and we are going to make a mighty Clipper ship that will sail past all these other pretenders in the NBA. Nobody is going to want to play the Clippers when the playoffs come around. I promise you that. But let's address the issue at hand here. Paul George saying a title with the Clippers would 100% outweigh winning with the Lakers. As a fact checker, we have carefully vetted this claim. And you might not know this, but I am a senior fellow at the Maller Institute of Fact Checkers. And as a senior fellow at the Maller Institute of Fact Checkers, we give Paul George the polygraph test. No lies detected. No lies detected. The curious George here. Paul George dotted the I on this take like he's in the Ohio State marching band. The Clippers have been the second winningest team in the NBA over the last decade. They have piled up wins like hotcakes at IHOP. However, they're missing the final piece of the puzzle, and that's that nice big pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And Paul George, part of the greatest Clipper team of all time, they made the Final Four. They cut down the Nets a couple years back. But Paul George has a shot at finishing the jigsaw puzzle with Kawhi Leonard taking out that quill pen and signing the Clippers' Declaration of Independence, becoming a forefather for the Clips. Now, page 2. Let's address the why. Okay, why would a Clipper title matter more? That's what Paul George said. So this one is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, and I'm the first to admit it. The Clippers are a franchise that was lost out in the wilderness of the NBA. They were off the grid. They were floating out in the middle of the ocean, and there was no one on the boat. They were in basketball Siberia. I don't know how many other ways I can say it. They were hanging out in the Bermuda Triangle. And that was the old Clippers. That's not the new Clippers. Now, you still see a lot of boomers who make jokes about the Clippers, and you can tell anytime anybody that makes a joke about the Clippers, you can tell they don't really know what they're talking about. They're not that knowledgeable. They're dumb fans, right? You know that. That's a sign you're a dumb fan. If you want to be known as a dumb fan, make a Clipper joke. Because the Clippers were losers at one point in the NBA, but that's an old take, right? They're not losers anymore, right? And the Clippers were never lovable losers. They were just losers. However, since the Lob City days, since that great Lob City era, the Clippers have been a model franchise in the NBA. And Paul George, you might not realize this, but Paul George is an environmentalist. Because what Paul George did with GQ Magazine, he is recycling a hot take that we used in previous episodes of the show. So I'm flattered that Paul George is a fan of the show, likely has insomnia, he's up late at night. So, Paul, thank you for using one of my hot takes from the past about the Clippers. I do appreciate that. It was Albert Einstein who famously cooked up E = MC². His basketball math is ring equals LAC checkmate. Doesn't have the same ring as E equals MC squared, but it's ring equals LAC checkmate. Because one title, just one, will trump the 12 championships the Lakers have won. That's right, 12. Remember that. The Lakers have 12 titles in Los Angeles, and really it's only 11 because another one of those things that anybody that really pays attention knows that bubble Mickey Mouse ring doesn't count.
What is still wrong with the Clippers?
The Mickey Mouse thing's a joke. You don't get credit when you're playing in an empty gymnasium at a resort near Toontown. You don't get credit for that. So, and the Lakers are so hard up to count championships, they count the 5 titles they had in Minneapolis. Well, spoiler alert, those stay in the Twin Cities. Guess what? All of the Boston Celtics championships, that can blow your mind, were won as the Boston Celtics. They weren't won as the Springfield Celtics. They were not won as the Portland, Maine Celtics. They were all the Boston Celtics. So, but those are your typical Laker historians. They're trying to glab on to a bogus Mickey Mouse championship and a Minneapolis 5-pack of championships. And I believe that when a team changes cities, I don't count the win in the new city. Like, I'm a Ram fan, and as much as the greatest show on turf was fun to watch, that was the St. Louis Rams. It's not the LA Rams. That's a St. Louis championship. That belongs to the fans who watched Kurt Warner and the greatest show on turf in that era. The Dodgers, you look at the record book, it says they have 7 titles, but they really only have 6 because as the LA Dodgers, they've won 6 championships. Brooklyn won 1. So I don't count that. That's Brooklyn's championship. All right, turning the page. So let's address the Komodo dragon in the radio studio. There's a lot of chatter, bouncing around, bouncy, around the echo chamber about the Clippers being uber aggressive in the buyout market. Now, this is one of those things that is very unique to the NBA, the buyout market. So you have the trade deadline, and then you have a second wave after the trade deadline of veteran players who make a lot of money, who were traded to dog food teams, who then get their contract bought out so they can go back and play for good teams. It really only happens in that sport. And so with that being said, the Clippers, according to the pinball machine of gossip, have been flirting with Russell Westbrook. And that's not all. They're also chatting it up with Patrick Beverley. Yeah. Now, Westbrook is currently in purgatory. He is not playing in Utah. His contract has yet to be bought out officially from the Jazz, as he was part of a giveaway trade. The Lakers got some backups. They gave Westbrook away. And Beverley was also traded by the Lakers to the Orlando Magic, who quickly dumped him. So, toss-up question. Better fit for the Clippers, Patrick Beverley or Russell Westbrook? So this one is the easiest question we have ever asked. This is child's play. Both of these guys are on the decline. But the pick, 8 days a week, twice on Sunday, Patrick Beverley. This guy oozes with machismo. He is, and forever will be, the ultimate glue guy. He's the glue guy. Beverley is as responsible as anyone else for what we call the Great Awakening of the Clipper franchise, and he was in the middle of all of that. And what Beverley lacks in talent, he makes up for in grit. You're not going to get a windmill slam dunk from Patrick Beverley. He's not going to knock down 7 or 8 three-point shots on a given night. But much like Mike Rowe, he's willing to do the dirty jobs. Patrick Beverley wins the hustle stats. And I used to be somewhat friendly with an old coach named Bill Fitch. He passed away not that long ago. He was a Hall of Fame coach. And Bill Fitch always used to say, we can just win the hustle stats. Beverley wins the hustle stats. Contested shots, charges drawn, deflections, loose balls recovered, screen assist. Those are the hustle stats. That is a winning ball player. You know who doesn't do those things? Yeah, Russell Westbrook, who is the antithesis of a hustle player. Now, I understand why the Clippers are talking to Westbrook. I do. I get it, right? They're trying to pacify Paul George. The Clippers have given the power, a lot of it, over to Paul George and to Kawhi Leonard. And PG-13 played with Westbrook, or Westbrick, as he's been known recently, in Oklahoma City. And I am concerned that Westbrook wants to come to the Clippers because he's got this neurosis. He thinks he's better than he is, and he would like to stick it to the Lakers. And what better way to stick it to the Lakers than to go to the Clippers and win? That would really infuriate the Laker historians. But the way I look at it, Russell Westbrook, until proven otherwise, would be like, it would be standing at pump 3 with gasoline dripping down, and you're holding a blowtorch and you're about to turn it on. That's Russell Westbrook in a nutshell, as he's a clunker. He is a clunker at this point. So I'm hoping they will do the right thing here and they'll sign Beverley, fan favorite, and he's willing to accept a part-time role. I don't see Russell Westbrook as a guy that will say, okay, I'm fine. I was a backup with the Lakers. I'll be a backup with the Clippers. No, he wants to play. He wants minutes. And I think that would just be a hot mess. But we'll find out what happens here shortly.